Hey, what I'm gonna do right now is show you how I take an article from something like Newsela. I don't always use Newsela, but I do use it quite a bit. Take it from Newsela and put it into a format on a Google Doc where it is super easy, super printable, and easy for your students to look at visually without becoming overwhelmed. So the first thing I want to show you is this is the article I picked. It is free if you make a Newsela account. It has 924 words, grade level 6. And then this is the content inside of that article. I'm going to actually edit and change the Lexile level. So I'm going to bring it down to 760, which sounds low, and it is. It's 4th grade. But if I'm introducing this for the first time, this is not something I want to overwhelm my students with. So then what I'm going to do is copy, all of the words. All right, well, I guess I'm copying all of that. And we'll go from here. And then I'm just going to copy this and see what it looks like. So Control C. Over here, I have my untitled blank Google Doc ready to go. And I'm going to paste it in there. Now, this is a little bit tricky as far as the formatting. So this is kind of, this is a little bit tricky as far as the formatting. As you can see over here, it's one of 5 pages, and we want it front and back, double-sided without anything else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start deleting some of this stuff. I believe this is the science. The making of a snowflake. Okay, so this is the title of a snowflake. Gonna kind of delete some of these things. I'm actually gonna resize this picture. I'm gonna delete all of this information, and this is not something that I would suggest you do as a to redistribute. But for me in my classroom, I really like printing double-sided, mostly because it saves paper and copying time, but it also helps students kind of see a little bit better what they're looking at, again, without being overwhelmed. So these pictures, if they're here, I suggest trying to resize them and fit them in. So right here, you kind of have the wrap text, which allows your text to go completely around, around the photo. I'm gonna delete all of this stuff. Okay, now same thing. I'm gonna delete this, not delete it, I'm gonna resize it, and then I'm gonna wrap the text. Delete all of this extra information. Okay, so now I have pages 1 of 3. Okay, so my 3rd page is about that far. It's about 3.5 pages, and sometimes this works okay. So one thing I can do is take this, and I can wrap the text here. Another thing I like to do is change the margins. So you'll go to File, Page Setup, and change these margins. I like to do like a 0.5. Oops, not a 5. Okay. Then the font is 10.5, which is quite small. I like to take this and bring this down. I like to change the font of the headings. Also, the next thing is if we're looking at summarizing specifically, it's really hard to summarize one sentence with one sentence. So what I would suggest doing is taking some of these really small sentences or really small sections and kind of chunking them together if it works. So I'm going to delete that one. I'm going to actually see how this one, it's 3 sentences, but I like that there's one right there, and I like that there's one right here. So I'm just going to combine this. I'm going to combine this paragraph to understand what's behind a snowflake's shape. Scientists will turn to chemistry. Then this is all now one paragraph. That's how a snowflake is born. I'm going to move that into that last paragraph. And now, as you can see, with all of those edits to those changes, I'm going to have a 2-page, fairly short section. Now, count the paragraphs right now. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12 paragraphs, which is absolutely fine. You just have to make sure that when you are giving students that template, that you give them enough time to write 12 paragraphs, or you can go through and you can decide like, okay, where do I want to include this information? Read the whole thing. Do you want to cut anything out? Do you want to, you can even go in and read these paragraphs a little bit closer and combine some of those. But 12 here is not too shabby. That is how I take a Newsela article or even an article off the internet and make it a very clean, very clear assignment, double-sided piece of paper for my students before we start to talk about summarizing.